I wish I had a cow. Actually, I wish I had about 100 cows, as my wife Sally spans out over this cover crop test plot area here in northeastern Indiana. We've got a tremendous amount of forage out here. We've got a tremendous cover crop. We're actually right now in a territory where we had a mixture that's called forager mix. It's cereal rye, oats, and turnips. This is a mixture that I've worked with since the late 1990s with a man named Ed Ballard from the University of Illinois. This is a mixture we called extending the grazing season feed or forage for a number of years before we started calling it a cover crop. But the reality is that the oats that were out here, and you can see the residue from the oats, or let's say the skeleton from the oats. We also have some leaves from the turnips. That some of those died down and died back. Several of the turnips, as you can see, are still living. Most of the turnips are still living and holding on to nutrients here even into the middle of March. It's an absolutely beautiful mixture for a cover crop. The oats are dead, the turnips and the cereal rye are still alive. So if you're grazing cattle, this makes a very wonderful mix. It also makes a very good mix for you if you do not have cattle. Got a turnip here that where I dug. And the one thing I guess I noticed right away was we have some interesting soil biology going on. We've got some rooting activity that is just full of extremely fine hairs. And we've got an earthworm right here as well. It's not uncommon to find earthworms camping out right along the area where the brassicas are. Turnips, radishes, happen to have turnips in this mixture. One of the things about having a turnip in here is while this is not a very big turnip, and this is even a smaller turnip, and this was planted after wheat, we still have a very good root system, not as deep as a radish would have been, but we've still got a nice root system with a lot of fine roots off of it, a little bit of a tap root, but this is not a real big one, but that's still a very hard bulb. So that's something that we realize we're still holding on to nutrients here. As we continue to look at this turnip, so I can pull away here, we've got some fairly wet soil here. You can see all this moisture, but look at the roots in it. I guess one of the nice things is we do have moisture in the soil, not just running off on top. And there's another nice big earthworm right here, close again to the turnip. I did not talk to the earthworms and tell them to come here first before we started digging, but that's our, well, here's another one right here. So that's 3 earthworms right around this one turnip, and these are nice large earthworms. They're already very active, as you can tell, so we're getting a lot of good soil biology going on, and I think that's one of the things that turnips give us in the spring that we do not get from the radishes. We also don't get the smell from the turnips like we do with the radishes. So it's another management tool here in the spring because we need to figure out how to kill these, but thankfully they're very easy to kill. But the amount of earthworms we're seeing around these turnips versus where the dead radishes were, in fact we really didn't find any right at that spot to speak of. But the turnip is still very firm. And look at the nice fine roots coming off of this turnip. So a lot of good root mass, earthworms. We don't have the deep tuber, but nevertheless we still have a lot of good soil biology going on. A lot of nutrient storage here. Good nutrient storage here in the leaves as well. So this is going to be a very good plot to look at. One of the things I didn't mention earlier is this plot's going to be yield checked. Did have some dairy manure that was put on. So we're going to be able to tell between the crimson clover and this mixture, the mixture where we had the crimson and the ryegrass and the radishes and straight ryegrass. All of those are going to be tested with a yield monitor, and we're going to be able to tell which cover crop worked the best. Hopefully next year come back and do the same products in the same spots. Again, it's Dave Robinson, plantcovercrops.com, looking at turnips, looking at earthworms, looking at lots of roots. March 16th, 2012.